Tic Tac Toe, one of the most popular games we all played one time or another. So how to design it yourself, code it in C language and enjoy playing it. Hi, I am Sham, an Android and Java developer. In this series I share my learning process on how to make low-level projects using C. Without further ado, let's get started. The idea of making this game particularly came when I was preparing for a tech exam in C and studying pointers, the beginner unfriendly topic. The solution was always playing with different approaches to the topic you are learning to fully understand the principles behind it. And a pointer is simply a variable type that holds the address of another variable, so it doesn't have the value itself, but it can give you the location in memory where that value is stored. To design the tic-tac-toe game in C, first I made the core methods I would use in the project. Draw board and draw symbol functions. They are responsible for placing elements in the console with proper dimensions. It's all about numbers you prefer for spacing of rows, columns, and XO symbols. Initiate board function. Here we have a 3x3 2D empty array to be filled with users' symbols. And here comes the pointer, when we have the player turn symbols by reference. Move cursor function. Very important, it checks if a neighboring cell is filled, then skips over it or jumps for an empty cell. Check winning function. The hit function. To win in tic-tac-toe, you need 3 identical symbols in a row, in a column, or in one of the 2 diagonals. And then comes the playing method. We have 4 key options: up, down, left and right. Using move cursor method makes transitions between cells efficient and smooth. When the user hits enter, the program writes the symbol in the board array. After each enter, we check if the player has won. It's really easier to separate your logic in functions as many as you want. It would be more clear for your design. So let's see how these functions bind together for us to enjoy playing the game from top to bottom. We have macros defining the dimensions and ASCII keys. Also, we have utility functions helping not repeating your lines of code whenever you want to use the dimensions. Get cell X, get cell Y, and go to XY functions. Also set color for adding colors to the symbols. So to summarize the logic flow we just talked about, initialize board is used to set up an empty 3x3 board. Draw board and draw symbols are used for dimensions and place elements in places of your choice. Cursor movement is for user navigation with arrow keys and skipping filled cells. Player turn by reference is for players' alternate turns. Check win. After each move, run the winning logic. Adding these functions together so we can play the game. Let's see how playing function works. The playing function is like the main controller of the game. It runs the game loop and manages player turns, cursor movement, symbol placement, and winning checks. Let's break it down step by step. The function usually runs inside the while loop until either someone wins or the board is full. This loop constantly listens for player input. Players use the arrow keys, up, down, left and right, to move around the board. But here is the twist. The move cursor function ensures the cursor only lands on empty cells. If a cell is already filled, the cursor automatically jumps over it to the next available one to avoid overwrite on a filled cell. When a player presses enter and the symbol is officially placed into the board's 2D array, at this point the board is updated permanently. After every placement, the function called checkWinner. This checks all rows, columns, and diagonals to see if someone has aligned 3 symbols. If yes, game ends and declares the winner. If there is no winner yet, the function simply switches the active player from X to O or from O to X. Then the loop continues for the next move. The function ends if a player wins or the board is completely filled, which means draw. This combination of low-level console drawing, pointers, and array manipulation builds the full game experience in C. My little advice is, you should try to design it yourself. You may end up with much better flow of the logic and even more precise one. Design the game, try your logic, and adjust as many times until it works. You can find this full code file in my GitHub profile, link is in the bio. See you in the next project!